everyone, and welcome to Talking Good Games match preview of West Ham United against Frankfurt, the Europa League semi-final of the Europa League. We're here to have a little look at both teams, have a little discussion ahead of the big game on Thursday night. But Gonzo, let's start with yourself. As always, what do you know about our opposition?
Not a lot, Geo. Truth be known, obviously we try and do a little bit of research before doing these previews, and they're not in great form, it has to be said. They've won once since the start of March, I believe, in the league. Obviously, they've had the victory against Barcelona, which was magnificent. What I've sort of noticed, though, just having a look through, because I looked at their players, so those are the next one, and I'll just preempt it now. I don't recognise any of them. But they seem to be a counter-attacking team. They seem to be happy enough to surrender possession, but they seem to have quite a lot of shots on the opposition goal, which could make for interesting viewing, bearing in mind it's sort of what we like to do, really. So that's going to be really interesting. Even against Barcelona, did you know I think they had almost 20 shots on goal, but only 25% possession. So that was a really weird stat there. And I looked at some of the others, and there's a direct correlation with that and how they play. It's a difficult one, though, to try and gauge, because obviously they're middle of the Bundesliga. Because it's a strange division, Geo, as we discussed on Patreon before. It's not really a competition literally in the definition of the word. You know who's going to win. It's an exhibition league in many respects, and Barcelona have just won. Barcelona haven't just won at all. They just lost to Frankfurt. Bayern Munich have just won their 10th title on the bounce with a month of the season left. They're miles ahead, so it's really hard to gauge how well Frankfurt are doing, bearing in mind there's Bayern Munich and then there's the rest. So it's really hard to know how competitive the rest of that league is, bearing in mind no one can win a trophy.
Yeah, a good team, a bit like us, really. As you always say, some of the parts kind of thing. And I think that's what I would use for Frankfurt as well. I think individually, I think we've got better players, but they've got their system. They know how to play it, and they play it well, actually. The Bundesliga is one league I don't mind watching, actually. While we've done the French league, we've done Lyon, I know nothing about it. Don't watch French football. I don't mind German football. And when Glasner joined at the start of the season, leaving Wolfsburg, he struggled big time. He sort of took his Wolfsburg tactics with him. 1 win in 10 games or something like that at the start of the season. It was really bad. Then he sort of switched to what Frankfurt were doing before he arrived, which is 3 at the back, and he stuck with it. He's made it his own version, if you like, and they are dangerous, I would say. They don't score that many goals, actually. If you look at their goals scored in the Bundesliga, they're in the bottom half of the table, but goals conceded, the 5th or 6th best defence in the league. Currently, they're sitting 9th in the Bundesliga, which means, they drew at the weekend. They can't really get European football now through the league, so it's going to be all on the Europa League, actually, for Frankfurt, which is possibly makes them a little bit more dangerous. I think when we played Lyon, they still had a chance at European football through the league table. Played Sevilla, they were second in the La Liga at the time when we took them on, so they obviously had domestic campaigns to focus on, whereas Frankfurt don't have that anymore. If anything, I think the draw at the weekend is probably a blessing in disguise for them, which says go all out for that Europa League, get into the Champions League kind of thing. So it will be a good game. It'll be a difficult game. I think they are good on the counter-attack. They start fast as well when they kick off. They just go straight for goal. You saw it against Barcelona. They rip right into Barca. They've got a penalty after 2 minutes. Got some damn good players, actually. We'll talk about them in just a minute. But a couple of other statistics. Well, Gonzo says they're not in great form. They're not in bad form either, though. Just lost just 2 of their last 12. So while they haven't won for a while, they haven't lost either. And their away form this season in all competitions has played 21 games, won 11, drawn 5, and lost 5. So in terms of travelling on the road, they're not that bad. And I would argue their football probably suits playing away from home without the pressures of their fans. Obviously, at Barcelona, it was like a home game for the men away with all the crowd there. But Frankfurt, good team, decent manager, decent system. I quite like them, actually. Anyway, if you want to know more about Frankfurt, you can get that on the OneFootball app. This video is sponsored by the OneFootball app. The link to download it is in the description and the pinned comments of this video, and it's completely free. Keep up to date with all the injury news, because there's some big injury news for West Ham. Good news, possibly, ahead of their game on Thursday night. Also, Frankfurt are missing a couple of their players due to suspension. But if you want to know more about that, and you can get it downloaded, go into competitions, click on Bundesliga or the Europa League. You can go either or. Click on Frankfurt. You can have a scroll down their recent results, their squad, their statistics as well. Get a little snapshot into what Frankfurt are like ahead of the game. And of course, OneFootball will be covering the preview as well. So they'll be look at bits of previews from different websites, all in one place. Best football app for the football fan. Get it downloaded today. Gonzo, do you fear them?
No, not
No.
even. No, not remotely. No. No, I don't. I think we're the better team. I don't. You know this. I'm not just saying this because I was fearful of Olympic Lyonnais. I really was. I think if we're playing a system, well, that's going to be awkward. I think the style may well be awkward, but I also think that they went all out in their tie against Barcelona, and they've really been putting everything into this. And it was, there's reasons they got suspensions, there's reasons they've had red cards and all the rest of it. They put absolutely everything into it, and they needed to because Barcelona are an excellent team. But I just feel that all the planets had to align for that to happen. We didn't have that exertion. We thrashed our opponents without actually getting into fifth gear, if the truth be known. And I think that gives me confidence. I think it will give the players confidence as well. I'm sure they'll be scouted. I see this as a battle of styles rather than a battle of players in that respect. We should have the best players. Everybody remembers that wonderful I could say everybody remembers. I've actually already forgotten one of their names. Of Jovic, Haller, and the other one, Bobic, Ribic, Dibic. Him, all of them, brilliant. What a front five. But they don't have that anymore. And, I don't know how well they've invested that money. 50 million for Jovic, certainly. 44 million paid him sort of 2 installments from West Ham. Certainly, it's a lot of money. I don't look at Frankfurt and see that they've recruited the next young star, that's with that money. So I see a counter-attacking team, and we're going to have to be a little bit tactical on it. But I just feel if our big players, particularly the rested ones, are on form and we're as motivated as we were against Sevilla and Olympic Lyonnais, I just think we beat them.
Yeah, I think Lyon's got better players than them. I mean, I thought Sevilla had better players than Lyon. I was very confident going into the quarterfinal, as you know. I'm a bit wary of this one. I think we have got better players. I think if we turn up and do our job, we'll be in the final kind of thing. But Frankfurt will be tough. I do admire their sort of system to some extent. They're very left-hand side heavy as well. So our right side needs to be locked down, if you like. The most underrated player from that 2019 team that you're referring to that got beat by Chelsea in the semi-final of this competition was Kostic, and he's still there, and he's by far their best player, their danger man. Ridiculous amount of assists. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got 20 assists this season. He's one of the best crossers in European football, I think, because he varies it a little bit. He doesn't just swing it in. Sometimes you cut it back. Sometimes you will put it in high. Very dangerous player. Whoever's on our right back position is going to have to be on top of the game. Otherwise, we're going to struggle against him. Not necessarily stop Kostic, you stop Frankfurt, but a lot of their tactics are based around him, and they don't even necessarily include him getting the ball, but they're based around him being in position, kind of thing. Anyway, I was going to ask you, am I in their players, but I'm going to assume you're just going to say no.
I just don't know them, Gio. I don't see enough of them. I'm sorry to say, I'm not being funny for the sake of it. If they had a young player that I'd heard of, or someone that had gone back and had made his name in European football, I'd say it. But honestly, I haven't heard of a single one of them.
Yeah, Kostic is the danger man, as you might have known. They've got two sort of number 10s, if you like. They'll play like a 3-4-2-1 formation, Frankfurt, and they play two number 10s, which is Kamada and Lindstrom. Lindstrom's really good. Arrives late in the box, as does Kamada, actually. But they've got a really good centre-back, but he's suspended for this one. He was the one that got sent off in the 99th minute against Barcelona for conceding penalties. A bit of good fortune for West Ham there. Very good player with the ball at his feet as well, and part of that left-hand side that causes problems for Frankfurt. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Now let's talk about West Ham, Gonzo. As it stands, Kurt Zouma is touch and go. He may make it, he may not make it. We don't know. David Moyes will obviously know and then have a plan. But I guess for the sake of this preview, let's talk about it as if he's not available. And then I'll ask you what you would do if he was available, because I think you only really switch one person, and perhaps formation as well. But you might only switch one player.
I do. I think you would switch formation, actually. Well, I would anyway. If he's not there, we played a formation that we played against Chelsea, which as a shape didn't really look too bad, did it? Now, I think with Zouma there, alongside Dawson, then you played a 4, particularly at home. You play with a 4 at the back and get the extra body in midfield, and then an extra one that can do a run from midfield and supplement the attack. Sorry, what were you going to ask?
I was just going to ask for your personnel.
Well, I think I would. Okay, so let's just have a look at what we had last time. I think the composition of the back five I would keep exactly the same. Sorry, not the back five. Sorry, I don't mean Masaraku. Sorry, back four. Sorry, the composition there would be the same. I'd swap Masaraku.
Give me a fight there.
No, come on, you know me.
I do. That's a problem. You like the Masuaku.
Yeah, no, not for a while. I look, I don't want Masuaku in the team. What's more likely? I want Masuaku in the team, or I can't count. Clearly, the latter. So I would play a Fornicator left wing back for this one because I was impressed when I saw him there. I liked it. I liked what I saw for that one. That would be my choice of the defence, certainly.
Yeah, I think it sort of picks itself really without Kurt Zuma, the back five. Yeah. I think Fernal's going left wing back makes sense, and it does put pressure on Soufal. That would give Soufal a direct opponent with Kostic. And when Frankfurt are in possession defensively, Kostic will play as a left winger. He will go and stand. Essentially, if I was to West Ham it up a little bit for you, Fernal's was left wing back in this case. Fernal's would be in line with Antonio. He'd be right up, as if to say to the right wing back or right back, well, what are you going to do? You're going to come with me. And it leaves that massive bit of space. And then Lanzini, in this instance, the left winger kind of player, Lanzini would drop right back to pick the ball up. And who's marking him? There's no one marking him. This is where Kamada comes in. Kamada will drop deep for Frankfurt, 10, 15 yards deep. And if he can't drop deep, their version of Declan Rice would go right over to the touchline to fill that space that Kostic is giving them. He's such a dangerous player. So Soufal has to start up against him. And having Ben Johnson there as well almost gives Soufal a little bit of cover because Kostic will stick to the touchline as much as possible. He will come inside. He will shoot. He will cause problems. He will score goals. Hopefully not in the semi-final. But generally, he will stay out wide to really stretch the play. In Frankfurt are quick again in the box, and they will put 3 or 4 men in the box as well when they get the ball out wide to him. There's no messing about. But yeah, the team picks itself so far for me. Ariel on goal, Ben Johnson, Craig Dawson, and Alan Creswell at back with Soufal and Fernal's wing backs. And I guess it sort of just continues to pick itself, Gonzo.
Yeah, look, you've got to play your best players. Moyes has rested his best players. Clearly, Souček and Rice will play in the middle. I certainly didn't see anything to suggest otherwise. I don't think Souček's in the best of form, but defended really well. And there's no one putting any pressure on Souček in that central midfield area. Obviously, Lanzini being there and Bowen and Antonio as well.
Now, if Kurt Zuma was back, which there's a chance he will be back for this one. What would you do? Because obviously you're switching to back four. So who's coming out your team? Because then I think once you've told me that, I can work the rest of the team out.
Oh, right. Okay. I would. I'd actually take Soufal out.
Leave Ben Johnson right back.
Right back. Yeah. He's done so well in Sevilla and against Olympic Lyon. He's looked really good, and as a defender. And I tell you what, you've only cemented that view the more you've talked about old Cross Stitch or whatever his name is. If he's as good as you say he is, then we'll get our best defender out there.
We've been linked to him for a while, West Ham, actually. You probably covered him in videos at Yarn Away, though. We have been linked to Kostic.
I'm going to look at his name just in case.
Kostic. We've been linked to Kostic quite a bit here and there over the last few seasons as well. We'd have loved him at West Ham and still kind of would, to be honest with you. So on paper, he's the left wing back, and he will get back and defend, but as soon as Frankfurt get the ball, he'll just come bombing forward. And I agree with you. I'd have Ben Johnson right back if it's a back four and leave Soufal on the bench, which is in a way frustrating because I think Soufal's a better attacking player of the two of them. And we are at home, and I would like to have a pop at them and get a win to go to Frankfurt with. I think Soufal's probably the more likely one to contribute going forward. But because it's Kostic, I'd play Ben Johnson there because my question myself is who do I trust more to handle him, and that's Ben Johnson. Who do I think is more likely to get caught out of position? That's Vladimir Soufal, because he also does get off the pitch a lot as well. So Ben Johnson for me. Anyway, just for a couple of bits of admin, really. There's no players at risk of suspension for West Ham, so obviously if they get sent off, but there's no booking accumulation now. Yellow cards have been wiped. Declan Rice is no longer at risk of the yellow card. Even if you pick up a yellow card in the first leg and the second leg, you're still fine for the final because you need 3 bookings to be suspended. European football, you can only get 2, obviously. So unless you get sent off, you ain't getting suspended in the Europa League. There's still no away goal, obviously. There's no away goal ruling for this one. And a little bit different compared to the last 2 games, perhaps, Gonzo, which might be a big factor. Frankfurt will have at least 3,000 fans there. Now, I say at least 3,000. It'll be 3,000 in the away end, and some of them might sneak in the home end as well. But we've seen with Lyon and Sevilla, Genk, they've only really taken a lower tier, if you like, again. So they're not really well travelled. But Frankfurt fans, they're turning up. I think it's going to be a special atmosphere on Thursday for us because it's semi-final, but also having that away end there, actually, I think it might actually spur the home fans on a little bit.
I think so. Look, let's be fair. They can't. Everyone's fighting and scrapping for tickets to this game. Anyone that's going, West Ham fans, wants to be there, is desperate to be there. It's a special night. It's a special night for all of us. And as loud as the Frankfurt fans may or may not be, and I'm sure they will start off at the start of the game once Bubbles has died down and we've roared, "Come on, you Irons!" I'm pretty sure the very next thing you hear will be the Frankfurt fans doing whatever the Frankfurt song is. I'm sure you'll hear them. But let's be perfectly honest, we should, as a stadium, be able to drown them out pretty quickly. I know we'll shut them up, and that's if we score a goal. And we do that, and they've just had a long journey, and they might be very spirited. I mean, listen to West Ham fans. We conceded a goal against Chelsea, and the first thing the West Ham fans did once Chelsea celebrations had died down is West Ham fans started singing again. So I'm not suggesting, they probably have got very spirited fans. I mean, certainly the I don't know whether it's the owner or the manager was seemed to be somewhat disappointed that West Ham had tried to crack down on ticketing fraud. Seemed disappointing with that. I don't know. Maybe he'd be disappointed that when they go to customs that the fans might have to show a passport or something. I don't know. But he clearly had the ump that we were trying to adhere to FA and UEFA restrictions and the UK law. He had a bit of the ump. But you know what? They clearly got really good fans. They've got some ultras as well, which obviously it's not something we do in this. We don't have ultras in this country, do we? But
Palace.
Sorry, aside from the Palace,
Can't forget that lot.
We've got the old so yeah, they got some ultras. So good for them. But honestly, we should be in control of the atmosphere in that stadium, and the fans can deal with control the atmosphere in that stadium, and so can the team.
Before I ask you about the game specifically, Gonzo, what about the occasions? Europa League said we're going to watch West Ham in the European semi-final in 48 hours' time. It's ridiculous. Pinch yourself, stuff this.
No, don't. You don't even need to. Honestly, I've got goosebumps when you said it now. People need to stop saying it to me. Honestly, I get a bit funny about it. I've got severe West Ham-itis. I can't even believe we're here. I actually stopped myself thinking about a final. Now, I think by the time you get to a semi-final, one of the perks of getting to a semi-final as a fan is you should be able to dream of the final, right? That's it. Let's be fair. We all dream of at the start of the season, or maybe we'll get the FA Cup final, maybe we'll do this, that, or the other. Now we're here. I can't even allow myself to dream in case I get disappointed. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
I sort of stopping myself. So I'm trying to keep a cap and a lid on it. I honestly, that when that second goal went in against Lyon, I'm telling you, I had tears in my eyes. I don't even think I'm frightened to know what would happen if we went through and got to. Honestly, I think I'd be an emotional wreck. Crikey! So I'm trying to keep a lid on my emotions on this. I'm so incredibly excited, Gio. I'm just trying to, play it with a straight bat in a cricketing term at the moment. But oh, mate, I'm buzzing. I am buzzing for Thursday. I just cannot wait.
My only irritation is it's the first leg. To have the second leg at home would have been special, but it is what it is. I feel sick. Do you know, before the Lyon game in the preview, I was sort of chilled out. I said, yeah, I'm all right. Whatever happens. If we go out, we go out. I'm proud of the boys. Well, because we're now in the semi-finals, all of a sudden, it's just in touching distance now, isn't it? I can almost taste winning the Europa League, and I've no longer got, if we go out, we go out, I'll be proud of the boys. I've just got, we have to win this. And I don't mean the tie. I don't mean the game. I mean the actual tournament. We must win this tournament now. I feel physically sick. I was sort of looking at transport for Thursday. I thought maybe I'll get the first train down to London, get into London at 10 a.m. And I thought, well, don't need to be there for 10 a.m. Not really. Is anything happening at 10 a.m.? Not really, but I feel like I want to be there for 10 a.m. just so I'm there, kind of thing. It's become occasion. It's no longer a game now. It's an occasion as well. It's a big event. The day's an event, and it's been a while. I say a while. It's been since the last Europa League game, but before this Europa League campaign, it's been a little while since we had an event like that because of COVID, and we're fighting relegation. Essentially, the last one was probably the last ever game at Upton Park, where you almost had like a day's build up to the match itself. It's an incredible feeling, and the possibilities is ridiculous when you think about it. When you close your eyes and think about it, we only need to win out the next 3 games in European football. We only need to win 2 of them to qualify for Champions League football. To win the trophy and get Champions League football, which would just be incredible. I said to someone who will have Champions League football, they said, "Oh yeah, but you'll get your arse handed to you on that." I said, "Maybe, but we only need to finish 3rd in the group to get into the Europa League. I'm okay with that." I'm already decided that we do get Champions League football. I'm okay with going into the knockouts of the Europa League off the back of it. I said,
we'll take that 30 million. Thank you very much on our way down there.
It'd be a bit more than that as well, because we're an English club and stuff. We'll probably be a big massive payday for the club. But yeah, I was like, I've already decided. As long as we get 3rd, I'm okay with it. I'm sure we could hopefully get a Red Star Belgrade or something in our group with us, that we can beat them and knock them out, and we'll go into the Europa League if we must. But I said to them, we can compete with the top 6 in English football.
Anyone that says that, Gio, I would take to task on that, because anyone that says that has actually lost the magic of winning a trophy. It's probably a fan of a big club that's so much they've forgotten. They've no idea what it would mean. There's no way I wouldn't even give. I'm not saying I wouldn't give a second thought, because we do a channel. We discuss the Champions League for next season and the implications of it and how we would do. But I almost don't care, right? I just want to win a trophy. It's all about the trophy. If we won the trophy, honestly, I'll die a happy. I don't want to die. I want to go on holiday in the summer. I want to go to Spearmint Rhinos next week. I don't want to die, right? But there's other things I want to do in life. But I would, in footballing terms, I don't care about the Champions League for next season. I would just, West Ham United would have won a major trophy in my lifetime, and I would carry that with me. And you're funny enough, I actually spoke to an Arsenal fan earlier on today, and he said something along the same lines. I said, you don't get it, and you don't understand, because all that success you've had, winning the Europa League would sustain me in football happiness for a very, very long time. Your comments and your jibes next season, you've just been beaten 2-0 by Wolfsburg or whatever, wouldn't matter. I wouldn't care. So I don't care what's down on a trophy. This is what it's about. They don't understand it, and that's why they can't speak to you in the same language, because they do not understand the weight of a trophy, because it's easy come, easy go for these fans of these clubs. They don't have the same depth of feeling, don't have the same passion. They don't have that love coursing through their veins. Not saying they don't love their club, but they're pampered and they're spoilt and they're used to it. And the moment they're, it's dearie me, pour me another drink. Chelsea a 3rd. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? Oh, poor old Chelsea only won the Champions League last season. They don't understand. They don't get it. It means everything to us.
It's all relevant, I guess. It's a bit like us saying to a Bolton fan, "Oh, we're struggling in the Premier League." They're going, "Hang on a minute, what are you complaining about?" Then a Bolton fan saying to a Bury fan, "Oh, we're doing really terrible." Going, "At least you got a bloody club."
You're absolutely.
So there is tears, isn't there? There is tears of entitlement,
right.
If you like, in football. Yeah. But it's one of the things on my bucket list. See, West Ham winning a major trophy is something on my bucket list I can't control. There's plenty of things on my bucket list that I can't control. Go see the Northern Lights. That's up to me. All I have to do is book a ticket and get on the plane and go have a watch. That's all. That's it. It's down to me. It's nobody else is going to make it happen, bar me. But West Ham winning a major trophy. And when I say major trophy, there's only really 2 that count, and that is the Europa League and the FA Cup. The League Cup would be enjoyable, but eventually I'd be a bit like, I think I'd enjoy it, but a few years later I'd go, wasn't quite the FA Cup, was it? And then obviously there's the Premier League and Champions League, but I'm realistic, right? I'm a realist. It's the FA Cup or Europa League, really, that sort of is in there. I can't control it, but it's something I want to witness in my life before I go 6 foot under, thrown in the Orsina black bag. Whichever happens, doesn't really matter. Just as long as the give me my half and half scarf from the West Ham Leipzig final on me. I'm aware of that.
Yeah. Actually, do you know what, mate? I think I will have the half and half scarf, and I've been slagging them off for the past 20 years. I might take one now.
Yeah, I think it might. My half and half scarf. Come on, the half and half scarf for the final. Anyway, back to the game, Gonzo. Are you feeling confident? I've got a feeling I know what you're going to say, but
yeah, I am. I am actually feeling confident. I'm feeling confident for. I'm feeling confident for the tie. I don't know quite how this leg will go. I suspect it could go very well, but even if it goes averagely, I don't think Frankfurt are coming here and thrashing us. I'll tell you that much now. So I think whatever happens, it's going well. Clearly we're going to Frankfurt. Whether we go there in a completely dominant position or not, I don't know. But I am confident overall for the tie, definitely.
Yeah, me too, actually. It's hard not to be in. Well, I spoke about Frankfurt having to put all eggs in one basket. We've already sort of done that already ahead of this game, going by our team selection against Chelsea. And I think as long as we don't get thrashed, I imagine we will do the same again against Arsenal, I'd imagine. And we almost got a little bit of an insight. Well, I'm reading too much into it, but at least they didn't play for the 23s last night. Now, I don't think that means anything for this game, but I think that's more saying you're starting against Arsenal next Sunday because, I've got no centre-backs. But also, if Zuma's touch and go, I ain't risking him against Arsenal. I'm playing you. I'm protecting Kurt Zuma for the second leg of the semi-final against Frankfurt as well. So I think Moyes has already got one eye on the Arsenal team in regards to what he wants to do or who he wants to rest, rather. And the Frankfurt ones are utmost priority. So I expect to see our best team out there. Obviously, we'd like an extra centre-back or two for this one, but it is what it is, isn't it? We're only missing that one position. It's quite a key position, but it's the only position we're missing. We've got our first choice left back, we've got our first choice keeper, our first choice right back, and second and third and fourth choice right back. We've got our first choice centre midfield pair, we've got our first choice striker, first choice right winger, first choice left winger. We've got first choice everything, bar that centre back area. But you know what? It's the same for Frankfurt. Frankfurt's missing their left centre back. They're missing their centre midfielder as well. It's game on, and it's hard not to feel confident for this one, actually. If we can keep Kostic quiet, I'm feeling good, actually. I'm feeling fruity, to use a Gonzo word.
Yes, indeed. I'm with you, mate. I'm with you. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you, if we'll win, I'll be feeling fruity on Thursday night, Geo. You'd be lucky.
I'll be staying away from you with your smooches. Do you have any worries, just quickly, do you have any worries for this game? Because Kostic is my worry. I'll be honest with you. That's their clear danger man. And I think if we give him too much time, too much space, he's got the ability to harm us. He does. He's that good. But apart from that, I think I'm okay. Do you have any concerns?
Yeah, but, I've got to imagine quite a lot to be concerned. So it's Antonio getting injured at the start of the game. It's something like that. Can something happen? Well, yes, it can. Okay, it really can. But we're a really good team. We're a really good team. Do I believe that we can keep it tight at the back? Absolutely. Do I then believe that Bowen and Antonio and Lanzini and our corners, and can we cause them problems? Yeah, we can, because we're not. I do think the style it might be a crap old game, actually. By the way, just be prepared for that if you've got two counter-attacking teams. But I also think that we're not going to play into their hands that they want here, which is to sit back and all the rest of it. We're not Barcelona. We're not going to start tapping it around like that. We don't do that. We attack in very few moves. Very few moves. I'd love to see a stat of how many passes, as an average, preceded our goals this season. I don't know what it would be, but we have the capacity to score in 2 or 3 passes. That's something that we do. Okay. So we're not going to play into their hands. I also think that there's one thing that I just wanted to talk about as well, which is belief. I listened to the players talking after that Lyon game. There's a belief in them. They think. I wouldn't stop for me to say whether they feel destiny's in their hands, but I certainly sensed belief from them. They feel that this is a really good opportunity to win a European trophy. But I've got to say, without the pressure of thinking it's their only chance. I get the impression that the squad are thinking, we might do this next year or the year after, but not the pressure there. But I think there's a belief there because they've beaten lots of teams this season. list them off. Almost every. The only team we haven't beaten this season that you'd call a big team is Arsenal, right? We've beaten everyone else.
Yeah.
So I think they probably look at it, our team, and think, well, and look at that final four. And they probably think, okay, we can beat all this guy. Now, you haven't got to worry about complacency because I don't think they're complacent players. I don't think it's in their character. And I don't think it's in the manager or the coaching staff's character. So I think they have belief and I think they'll be motivated. And I do wonder, I've said this years gone by, Gio, when I say I do always used to find it weird when people used to talk about reaching a semi-final or reaching a final. Do you remember me saying that? There's weird language, very, very weird language. What do you mean reach? Win it. Surely win it is what you mean. But then little things like that. And I just wonder if Frankfurt have done well to get to here, sort of matched what they've done before in that sense, but also maybe they don't look at the final four in the group through the same prism that we do. I think we think Frankfurt, we can do you. I think we look at Rangers, I think we can do you. I think we look at Leipzig, I think we can do you. Now, I'm not saying they don't have qualities, those teams, but immediately I wonder if Frankfurt, I think, it's a Premier League team. They're quite tough. They might look, no disrespect to Rangers at all, by the way, but they might look at Rangers and think, okay, we may well be able to beat you. But then they might look at Rangers and think, actually, you beat Dortmund and they're loads better than us. And they may even look, and in the final four, they've got a team in Leipzig who are significantly better than Frankfurt. So I'm not sure they look at that final four and see it as a realistic chance of winning. They'll want to, and they'll have some belief, but they won't have as much belief as us. And I do think that may well be key.
Yeah, I was trying to find your average passes per goal thing. You've got me looking now. I'm going to have a look in a minute. So if I found it, I'll put it below in the pinned comments, the answer. I found it from 2019, 2020, which is pretty much useless. But I've managed to find that one.
Good. Yeah. So Barcelona under Rijkaard was probably 1 million passes before they scored a goal. That sort of thing. I reckon ours
Burnley under Dyche is 2.
Yeah, well, yeah. But this is, I think ours, might be along those, 3 passes or something like that, which does have an impact on the game, really. If they want you to pass it around constantly, they might not really get what they want. So it's going to be interesting.
Anyway, can I get any final words from yourself as well as your all-important score prediction?
I think I've spoken enough. I'm sure everybody agrees. Score prediction. West Ham 3, Frankfurt 0.
Oh, no way! You just said about Frankfurt are really good defensively. This is going to be a cagey game. And you're saying we're going to score 3. I'm
feeling it, mate. Honestly, I'm very excited.
I think you're feeling far too fruity. You need to calm down. You need to calm down a bit.
I'll have a cold shower in a minute.
I thought I was getting to London to start drinking at 10 a.m. a bit too early. You're starting on Tuesday at 10 a.m. by the looks of it. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident, feeling optimistic. And I know what you're saying about how reach the semi-final, reach the final. I guess it's something you can say in hindsight when you look back at the achievement, not while you're still in the competition. It is a little bit of a sort of loser's mentality, if you like. I think Moyes will have a plan for this one. I think Moyes will have his game plan. I expect to see something really good tactically. I think tactically against Lyon away, bang on. Home to Lyon until the red card, bang on. Even after the red card, I thought we did really well. Bearing in mind we're 10 men. Sevilla at home, fantastic. Sevilla away, I thought we'd done really good. I know we lost 1-0, but Moyes told us after the game he was okay with that. He was happy with a 1-0 defeat because he had a plan. He had a plan for 2 legs, if you like, and that plan almost allowed a 1-0 defeat in Seville, if you want. I wonder if he's got a 2 game plan going into this one. It'd be interesting to see the approach Frankfurt take, because when they played Barcelona the second leg, they started 100 miles an hour. Honestly, they just came out and just went straight for them. They had a corner within about 30 seconds, a penalty after about 2 minutes, and then they scored an absolute screamer. Borad, the striker, scored a screamer, and Kostic scored, and it's 3-0. Then it was like, well, we're just going to see out the 3-0 win now. We're just going to sit back and hoof the ball away. We're going to time waste. We're going to do anything we have to. And, it was got a bit close towards the end, finishing 3-2, but they did the job. And it'll be interesting to see what approach both managers have for this one, because there's 2 good tacticians. They've got a good manager. We've got a good manager. It's going to be an interesting matchup. And it depends on Zuma, but if Zuma's not fit enough for it, then we're going to have identical formations on paper, which is also going to be interesting as well. But fingers crossed Zuma's okay. Will make a big difference in my confidence on the night. But all in all, I'm going to say West Ham 2, Frankfurt 1. I think they'll score, but I think we're going to win. Happy days. Anyway,
as mine.
No, but I've gone for similar goals, if that helps.
Yeah,
No?
familiar, yeah.
Anyway, if you enjoyed this preview, do drop a like on it, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Myself and Gonzo. We'll catch you in a bit.